Ready for a deep dive into a film that's got everyone talking about love and resilience and facing tough times?
Yeah, sounds intriguing.
It's called The Signature, and it's a new Hindi film, actually based on a Marathi hit, Anumati.
Hmm, a remake.
Yeah.
Always curious how this turned out.
Well, we've got a great review from MovieKaTicket.com to guide us today. And what really struck me was how this film takes a story that, we've kind of seen before and makes it feel so powerful.
I can definitely see how that would be a challenge. Familiar stories can easily fall flat if not handled carefully.
Right. But this one seems to avoid those pitfalls. So, ready to explore how The Signature manages to pull that off?
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
Okay, so the story follows this guy, Arvind.
And who's playing him?
Anupam Kher. I think you'll agree. Amazing actor.
Oh, absolutely. Anupam Kher is fantastic.
So Arvind's world kind of gets turned upside down when his wife is diagnosed with a really serious illness. And we see him struggling with, the emotional roller coaster of that, obviously. But the film also delves into the financial burdens, which adds a whole other layer of complexity.
That's interesting. You don't always see that side of things explored so honestly in films.
I know, right? It felt very real, very relatable. And it's in those everyday struggles, the small victories, the moments of just getting through the day, that the film's themes of love and sacrifice and resilience really hit home. There's this one scene where Arvind is just sitting by his wife's bedside, and the way Anupam Kher conveys his grief, just with his eyes.
I can only imagine. He's such a powerful actor.
It's incredible.
I always think of Anupam Kher as a master of those subtle expressions. He doesn't need grand gestures, He can express volumes with just a look, a slight change in his voice.
Exactly. And you really feel Arvind's helplessness, his guilt, the depth of his love for his wife. It's all there, simmering beneath the surface.
It sounds like he gives a truly memorable performance.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've seen some of his other films like Saranch, but what other roles would you say really showcase that range, that ability to convey such raw emotion?
Well, recently, The Kashmir Files was pretty powerful.
Oh, yeah. Intense film.
Completely different genre, of course. But you see that same intensity, that commitment to portraying the rawness of human experience.
Absolutely. He brings up a certain gravitas to his roles, He elevates the material.
Yes, definitely. And speaking of elevating the material, we can't forget the supporting cast in The Signature.
You're so right. Ranvir Shorey, Anu Kapoor, Manoj Joshi, Nina Kulkarni.
They're all such talented actors.
Such a solid ensemble.
Yeah.
And they really create this world that feels authentic, like you're right there with these characters.
Now, I'm curious, this being a remake of the Marathi film Anumati, how did the filmmakers manage to adapt it while still making it feel fresh?
That's a good question. It's tricky to strike that balance. You want to honor the original while giving a new audience something, new.
Exactly. It seems like director Gajendra Ahire found that sweet spot by really focusing on the emotional core of the story. Maybe through subtle changes in the storytelling, or character development. I don't know. I haven't seen Anumati, so I can only speculate. But one thing that stood out in the review was Mahima Chaudhry's performance.
Oh, as Ambika, right.
Yes. It's like her return to the screen adds another layer to the whole narrative, almost echoing those themes of second chances and resilience.
It's interesting how casting choices can add those unexpected layers to a story, right?
Yeah.
What did you think of her portrayal?
I thought she brought a certain vulnerability to the role that made Ambika instantly relatable, and her chemistry with Anupam Kher was palpable.
I've heard good things about that aspect as well.
It adds a whole other dimension to the film's exploration of love and companionship, how those bonds can help us through difficult times.
And from what I've read, Gajendra Ahire's direction plays a big role in that, too.
Oh, how so?
Well, apparently, his approach is very sensitive, allowing this story to unfold naturally, giving the audience space to really connect with those emotions.
I like that. That kind of quiet power and direction can be so effective, creating those moments of contemplation that really stick with you.
Exactly. So, putting it all together, The Signature really seems to be a nuanced look at human resilience in the face of some pretty tough challenges, really highlighting the power of love and compassion. What stands out to you as the biggest takeaway from all this?
I think for me, it's that reminder that even when we're facing incredible difficulties, human connection can be such a source of strength. And even in the quietest moments, we can find ways to express and share those deep emotions.
It definitely sounds like a film that encourages us to reflect, maybe to appreciate the preciousness of life a little more. and the strength we find in one another.
Absolutely.
Well, if you're looking for a film that stays with you long after the credits roll, The Signature is definitely worth checking out on ZE5.
I think I'll be adding it to my watch list.
Me too. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
My pleasure. I always enjoy these conversations.
Till next time.
See you then.